It's Sunday evening. We had over 60 millimetres of rain today, but mostly in the morning. Consequently, I was confirmed in my idea that having the team sort of work on the roof here was a bit pointless, or any paint would have just washed off. So they worked inside, which was a bit less obvious. We had a problem with the main kitchen sink not draining properly, so we worked on the drainage of that, which wasn't easy. The plumbing for this house was not well constructed. I think the drain pipe, it's the one that comes out over the corner over there, is probably too level, too flat, so it doesn't drain as well as it should. So any build-up of crud tends to cause blockages. And with the dishwasher running, it was pumping water into the drain and coming back up in the sink. Fortunately, not overflowing the sink, but we couldn't get the water to drain out of that, and because of the corners, it's a bit hard to get a plumber's snake down there, and it's more than the 10 metres that we have on the plumber's snake anyway. And so the guys came up with the idea of, okay, how about we hook up the air compressor and blow some air through the thing to push the water through. So they managed to create a fitting for that, and yeah, we blew out a lot of crud, including a dead rat. So we now have proper drainage on the kitchen sink. So that was good. And tomorrow they'll be back to work on this structure, the boar shed, or whatever you want to call it. Jabita's sick of some crapping on everything, so they're going to try and enclose that in mesh. So we'll go and see how much mesh we've got left. Well, there in that corner there are 3 rolls of the PVC coated welded mesh, so we probably have enough. Jabita and I are off to Pandeglang again tomorrow. Leave here sometime before 8, so these guys will turn up hopefully before or around 7. I'll come back over and unlock the shed for them. Not going to leave that unlocked overnight. And they put down a big tarp out here with lots of rice loaded on it for next time it's sunny to dry out in this area. Any flat area gets used. And if you're asking why not use the rice factory drying area, well, they are. So this was just overflow. Yep, seem to have a rhinoceros beetle that's fallen over. There you go, turn the right ways up. So I wonder if it'll escape before somebody jumps on it. Pandeglang for ID card creation in the cat's office. I misled you previously. We weren't going to Pandeglang, we were going to Pandeglang. This is actually my 4th attempt to record this bit. First one, I was a few minutes in and the camera said, oh, no, card's no good, use a different card. So I restarted after taking the card out, putting it back in again, just resetting it in case of dodgy connections. 5 minutes in, it repeated that exercise. Oh, great. So I took the card away, or took the camera away, took the card out, put it in a card reader, plugged that into the computer in the lounge room, copied all the files off that I'd recorded previously, and didn't have the 2 latest attempts on there at all. Then put it back in the camera, told the camera to format it, and tried again. About 5 minutes in, it says, no, this card's no good, try a different card. So I went back to the lounge room and I took the card out of the camera again. I've now put it back in the card reader in the computer and told it to do a slow format on it. I unchecked the tick box for quick format. So it's currently formatting the 64 gig card, and I grabbed the 16 gig card out of my old D3200 camera, and that's in here currently, and it hasn't given up on me, so I have reason to believe the camera's okay. So it might have been just the card, we'll see. Anyway, before I got diverted off onto that, I was going to report that after communing with the office cat for a while, they took me into the offices where they wanted to record the biometric information from my ID card. Took the photo 5 or 6 or 8 times. I don't quite know why that was. I think they restarted doing the form on the computer 3 or 4 times due to other issues, but got photo in there. Then had a fingerprint reading device where you put down your 4 fingers of your right hand together as a group, and it would record those and let you know if that was successful. Then you put down your 4 fingers of your left hand and record those as a group and let you know whether they're individually successful. Did that repeated times, and every time it said my ring finger, nah, don't like that one. So I don't know what was going on there, but then you put down your 2 thumbs and recorded those both perfectly. So that was all okay, I think. Then next thing was the signature recording. It was a bit better than the Serang immigration office in that they didn't just have a black pad that gave you no visual feedback. This one actually had a touch sensitive LCD screen that you recorded on with a stylus, and you got visual feedback on the LCD screen of what you were doing. So after a few attempts I got a legible signature in there, or one that approximated what's on my passport, so they're happy with that. Then the final thing was the eye scan, retinal scan presumably, and the device just said nah, don't like him, nah. They tried it on a different guy, yeah, worked perfectly. Tried it on me again, nah. So I struggled with that for quite a while. I said, well, I had cataract surgery last year and got a plastic lens in my left eye. Would that have an effect? Oh yeah. Okay. So we were still struggling over why it wasn't working with my right eye. And then I said, well, I guess I'm quite myopic in the right eye. Would that be affecting the scan? Oh yeah. So okay. So what they want now is a letter from the doctor or hospital where I went last year to confirm that my eyes are how I claimed, and once they have that information or that letter, they will hand over the ID card. So I've sent off an email to Jakarta Eye Centre, and given how well emails are handled in Indonesia, I may or may not hear back on that. But when we get back to something on that, Santa will have that on hand and go off to Pandeglang to collect my ID card. But nothing's ever as easy as it should be. I was in the bathroom earlier today and I heard an alarm going off. It sounded like maybe one of the electric scooters or something had been triggered, but when I came out it turned out to be this thing. And it was screaming quite a bit, and I was pressing the exit button on the inside and that wasn't working. I thought, well, that's interesting. And after a while it stopped and everything started doing as it should again. Then later on the alarm went off again, and Jabida couldn't get in because she was out in the back kitchen. So I power cycled the whole system and it's been okay since then, but I'm seriously thinking I've got to get a spare fingerprint control unit. They're not real cheap. I did manage to find an equivalent here on Shopee for about, well, works out about 180 bucks. But this particular model no longer seems to be available. And the slightly better one, which is what's on the shed, that isn't available either. So I have to go for something else. But I think I'm have to get a spare. Jabota had the ladies out here weeding this again yesterday, and instead of putting the weeds down in the burn pit, which was a bad idea, I've now decided to stack them around the cocoa trees There's mulch. Hopefully that doesn't induce rot on the stems. But anyway, the card we're recording on currently is the 64 gig card, which I formatted on the computer yesterday. It was the long form format, so it took hours. But given that we're now on the second clip on this card, and it hasn't given up on me yet, I think we might have sorted that issue out, which I'm grateful. I was okay for cards anyway, but the 64 gig card seems to be a nicer one to have. And there's the sparrow eating the profits. No, didn't even need it. But yeah, so the guys are working on the soffit over there. So that's, they're just finishing up on that bit now, and then I'll move on to sparrow proofing the that tank shed. I've got to come up with a consistent name for this room, because it's got a bore. Right there that goes down 40 something, well, it went down 105 metres, but they pulled the bore tube back up to about the 40 something metre point, so it gets the same salty water as the one in there. But so it's got a bore and it's got a tank, so do I call it the bore room or the tank room or the tank shed or the tank room, the bore shed? At the moment it's Sparrow Haven, so we'll fix that. I thought I'd better give a before view of that back roof there. I walked past the guys down at the tank room, bore shed, whatever it is, earlier, and I was shown some buckets of paint. So okay, obviously my message about putting the painting off until dry season has been lost in translation. So I said, okay, well, before you apply that, you need to do the phosphoric acid stuff to get rid of that rust. I don't have a lot of faith in their paint being anti-corrosion type paint, so we really need to deal with corrosion beforehand. So I've got about 4 litres of, actually it's 2 1-litre containers, so 2 litres and a little bit of phosphoric acid to apply to that roof. It did work quite well previously and took all the red back to being black, but of course it's had a lot of rain and time and sun since then. So hopefully they'll get that done right. You can see in the middle of the picture there on the left hand side, this guy lying on the roof fixing up the soffit on that side of the roof. And hopefully they don't have to be told, don't paint the black tube, lift that off and paint under it. But we'll see. But yeah, so a preview. You can see that the red iron oxide is being converted to grey something else by the application of phosphoric acid. My guess would be iron phosphate, but it's 50 years since I studied chemistry. But hopefully that will give the paint something better to stick to. Well, they're painting obviously, but it's not the white I was expecting. They're painting with grey. Okay. And I saw the guy with the hat sweeping. And I thought, I can make that easier. So I got yet another device from the shed. So they're having a nice play with that. That's a combination vacuum cleaner blower. But you don't want to use it for vacuuming anything other than leaves probably. But they're having playing with that. Well, looks like the roof is getting a second coat. This is good. They did report there was actually one spot where it was rusted through. And that roof is less than 3 years old. So I commented on the quality of the galvanised steel sheeting and was told, yep, that's the way it is in Indonesia. So I sure hope this is a better quality. Well, the roof's looking much better there now that it's fully painted. The guys are actually behind that tree at the moment, still doing some more work, because they're also working to stop some of the water that comes down between the houses during storms. And here's the sheet that was removed. Painted some of it, but then apparently decided that nah, it's no good. So that one got removed, and we appear to have another sheet here. So this is all product of Krakatoa steel. So I hope the roof on here is better. But yeah, the other thing that happened was last night they had a barbecue out here. So there's the barbecues that were brought from Melbourne. A stainless steel one had never been used before, but I'd bought that because I saw that for 60 bucks and thought that's probably too good to go past, so I didn't. This one's got many miles on the clock and it's looking a bit sad. Needs to be cleaned out and the grate at the bottom bent back into shape. It's Friday and our workers are on holiday until Monday because it's the start of Ramadan tomorrow. And for those of you who noticed there was a sound glitch at the 2-minute 20-second mark of this video, that was because I had to cut out a second and a half as a 10-year-old grandson popped naked out of that door and then back in again, because they tend to use this as a washroom, which is one of its purposes. You can see here that the guys have been putting the mesh on here to start the sparrow exclusion process. They figure that that expanded steel mesh there obviously is fine enough to keep them out by itself, so that'll all get paint applied to it on those metal strips at some later stage, I'm sure. And the sound coming from that direction, which is the southeast from the shed here, that is from another rice factory, and there's another one over there northeast of us, also on the road, other side of the road. Rice factories are pretty common around here for obvious reasons. I cleaned up the 2 barbecues and emptied all the ashes out, put them back in the shed here, and well, this thing's too close to the wall, I can't open the lid with that. But I was going to show you, there was a big curve in the grate and tray for the bottom, which I've flattened out now, so that should be better next time. I can report that I was right about the email response from Jakarta Eye Centre. There was none, so I tried contacting them via WhatsApp on a couple of different numbers, and both of them had automated responses that required me to understand Indonesian and interact with AI menu type things in Indonesian, and that wasn't going to fly. So I dug out some documentation I had from when I went for a diagnostic visit and gave that to Santa to go and visit Pandeglang, which he'll do coming Monday, because of course their offices are closed at the moment for a holiday. Hopefully they think that's sufficient. If they don't, well, I have to go back to the struggle of contacting JEC. Yeah, so I'll go and put together what I've got and do my upload.